Thanks everybody for being here. How's the day going so far? Hopefully well. Only a few minor Zoom issues this morning. I wanted to start with a little chat response activity. If you could go back to your first 10 days of teaching, what's one piece of advice you'd give to yourself? We're staying on the theme of tens with 10, 10, 10. First 10 days of teaching, what advice would you give to yourself? Feel free to think about that and then put it into chat when you have a second. We'll see what you come up with. We've got new faculty starting today. Maybe I will. Yes, I like that one, Jordan. Don't feel like you have to have everything perfect. That's a great one. None of us start off. None of us finish off doing it perfectly for that matter.
I was going to say, I don't know if even now.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Today has not been perfect, that's for sure. Hold on. Relax. That's a good one, Randy. Treat my students like my peers. Yes, I like that. A co-learning experience, right? We're all learning and get their expertise from the students as well. It's so good. Don't make a 45-minute lecture recording. Anthony, why not? Why didn't you didn't know that? Come on.
So many reasons.
All that time spent recording. Only to have it not watched. That's great. That's a great one. For folks joining, we're just sharing. If we could go back to our first 10 days of teaching, what's one piece of advice we'd give ourselves? It's hard, maybe hard to think back that far. I don't know. I think I would like plan less. I tend to over plan. Ask for help, breathe. Yep. Really good. Those are all good pieces of advice. So today, our goal in this session is to talk about strategies to humanize our online interactions with students at the start of our classes. Hopefully you guys leave the session with practical ideas and resources to foster a welcoming and supportive online learning environment. So I really am honing in on online classes in this session. And a lot of this is pulled from the 10-10-10 at one course. So you will, I'll talk about that a little bit at the end with how you can access that course. But a lot of it is pulled, from that course that 10-10-10 that At One teaches. I teach that course for them. So I'll share that information on how to get access to that. But what I want to do is share with you the agenda that I have planned for today. I do have some breakout rooms planned so that we are having some time to share ideas and to chat with each other about it. It's not going to be a 45-minute lecture where I'm giving you all of my answers about this. Hold on, in the imperfect world that we're in, my son is calling me right now. So just give me 1 second. Hey, buddy. I'm in the middle of my presentation. Do you need me or is it an emergency? All right, I love you. Bye. Sorry about that. Thought I had muted. I did not mute. Okay, so I also haven't, did I hit record yet? Yeah, good. So we're going to do breakout rooms and we're going to do kind of start with 10-9-8. So counting down to the start of the semester is the plan to start with that, because really our semester starts before our semester starts, right? Our interactions with students starts before the first day of the semester, maybe not. And then we'll talk about the first 10 minutes of your course and what that means in an online course, and kind of link that to the design of our home pages. Then we'll look at the first 10 hours and we'll look at that, how we can link that to the design of our orientation modules. The 10 days is going to be, probably we won't have time to talk about that too much, but we can get into it in a little bit. But that's where I'll kind of encourage you to take those courses. And so that's kind of like our map for the day. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start off in breakout rooms. And what I want you to think about is what experiences or actions make you feel truly welcome in a new environment? And do you incorporate those, do you incorporate those welcoming strategies into how you welcome your online students? So I'll put those into a broadcast message so that you'll have access to it in the breakout rooms. But I want you to think about that. What makes you feel welcome? And do you incorporate that into how you welcome your students? So let me share with you one way. So like I said, I teach that 10-10, I teach this 10-10-10 course, and one of the things that we have them do in that course is to write a welcome email, to really hone in on that pre-course contact. So this is the email that I write to them. I'm usually co-facilitating, so it'll be someone else's name in there with me. But is there anything you notice about my example of what I do to reach out? Let's see if we can pull some things out of that.
Well, it's very friendly and humanizing and welcoming because you have a picture of you and you're very friendly in your tone. And I love the way you sign your name and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hope, is that we want it to be friendly. I've seen lots of welcome letters that have like bold, all caps, red stuff, font. And that's not really it might be called a welcome letter, but I think being intentional about the fonts and the, how we're writing what we want to write is actually really important. What else?
I think there's bullet points. So it's kind of short and sweet, but informative.
Yep.
And you have the links to the help for the system login, those kinds of technical challenges. Having a phone number is also great too.
You're right. I could add the phone number up there. That's a really good.
I also
What
like,
about go ahead, Anthony or Miguel.
no, I was gonna say I really like the summarizing aspect of it. Some people just like look at it, they're like, oh, whatever. But then we say summarizing and then bold. These are the main things I want to take away from the email. So I appreciate that.
Cool. What about this middle paragraph? Our class is fully online, and there are required activities to stay actively enrolled.
I think that's good because it's setting expectations just right from the get-go, and making it very clear. And I like that you said exactly what they have to complete. Yeah.
And that's the thing with online classes, right? Merely logging in cannot count for participation. So we need to be very clear what counts for participation in each of our courses so that students know, okay, I'm participated, I'm in. Like I've done the 3 things that Katie told me to do by the due date, and so therefore I'm in. If they miss any of those things, they can be considered not actively enrolled in my class. And usually if it's one of those things, I'll reach out and be like, hey, don't forget to do this. It's maybe something that they just forgot to do. But that's the important part, is that it's not just logging in. They have to do an academic activity in an online class in order to be considered actively enrolled. So that's why from the very beginning, before this is my first communication with them, they know what that expectation is. All right. I think I kind of summarized some of these things. Course start date is the other thing that's in there. Lots of times students will forget that they've signed up for a first session 8-week course. They thought it was a second session, so they don't know that it's starting, or maybe they sign up for multiple ones and they're not sure which is which. The Canvas login info you guys mentioned, required activities for week 1 I mentioned. I think a friendly picture of you And you can combine that with something about you as a human, right? In my case, I added a picture of my dog. It could be, your favorite restaurant, maybe your picture of you in your favorite restaurant, or doing a hobby that you like, or pets are always easy to humanize us. They are awesome that way. So I really recommend, maybe not like a super professional looking headshot, just because I think if you can provide some of that humanity, that's less formal, I think that's a welcome letter is a good spot to do it. A welcoming tone, short blurbs and short lists, and then no longer than one page. So notice in here, like there's so many services and, programs that we want to tell our students about. I don't really mention that in this letter. There's going to be a better spot for those. I think whatever kind of the goal of this is to get them into Canvas. Be like, okay, I can do this. I know what I need to do. And now I know when I need to log in so that I can get that stuff done by Friday. So that's really the goal of this. I actually have this welcome letter example. It's a Google Doc. And so if you wanted to, let's see, copy link URL, let me put this in chat. Grab that, you're welcome to. Take a copy of that if you want to. You certainly don't have to, and of course, make it yours. But in case it takes some of the legwork out of the template stuff. All right, so that's pre-course contact, right? That's just getting them into Canvas. The next thing we're going to look at is the home page. So now that they're in Canvas, I want you to talk specifically about your homepage design and how you are helping students feel welcomed and supported right away. How can your homepage clearly guide students on where to go and what to do next? So we're going to go back into breakout rooms, talk about home pages and how we can put those characteristics of welcoming and support into homepage design. We'll do that for a few minutes. Again, make sure everyone has a chance to share, and then we'll come back and we'll see what we came up with. So let me pause my recording. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you talked about some homepage design and how to get out that welcoming, supportive feel once your students are on that homepage. Anyone have anything that kind of stood out to them in their groups, what you guys talked about mostly?
Yeah, I can share. I think, well, one of the big themes like amongst us was like just simplicity. Keep it real simple, don't have a bunch of clutter in there, and just the most important things that they're going to need. So usually it's like course info, a little welcome, and then contact info, and then that's pretty much it. Yeah, other course stuff.
Yeah, I think the simple is the key there. Really good. Anyone else want to share? I'll pull my screen back up. Here's an example of my homepage. Like Anthony said, it's pretty simple. Any other things that you guys notice about it? Other than my weird picture?
I love your picture. It's fun.
Thank you.
I like your
There's-
contact info. It's very clear and very
Contact info clear.
And the link to the Zoom room for office hours.
Yep. Yep. You don't want to hide that in a syllabus or in somewhere that's not a clickable URL. Like I see like that long URL somewhere that's not a clickable link sometimes, and I'm like copying. Now it's another step to like copy and paste that into a browser. Like we want to make those things as easy as possible for students to get to. Anything else that jumps out at you? Let's see, name, picture, contact info, where to go next. So it's important that students know where to go from the homepage. I have a link that has this, I'm ready to begin. That actually takes them to the first page in the first module. So there's really only, other than my contact information, that's the only link that they can get to from the homepage. At least the homepage of the first week of class. For 10-10-10, we actually end up changing the homepage every week because it's only a 4-week class. I know for longer classes, that's more of a lift, but because where you want them to go might change every week. And so you could have a different homepage. You could have them all created, like make a copy of this page, tweak it for week 2, and then all you're doing is changing the front page every start of the week. You can't automate that yet, but I think Canvas is going to be adding that functionality where we can automatically have that homepage updated. But think about that, how that would change over time. How your homepage would maybe change over time. And then of course having those small chunks of info so that it's that simple. It's the white space. The white space is very welcoming. White space is very friendly. It's like, I'm not overwhelmed. I can do this. I see where I need to go and I'm going to go there. If it's a wall of text or a big long module screen that students are scrolling through to find where they go next, that's time and mental work that might get them thinking, I knew I shouldn't have taken this course. Online's not for me. Oh, what was I thinking? I can't even find the link to start this darn thing. So let's make it really easy for them to get to where they need to go. A couple of things I wanted to just remind myself to remind you is to open your course on the Canvas app. So in the Canvas app on your phone, your homepage is going to look different. It's just nice for you to know what that looks like, because some of your students are just going to be on the mobile app at the beginning until they know, what's what. You should know what it looks like on the Canvas app. Another idea, show your homepage to a colleague and ask where would you click next? Because it might be super clear to you because you've been designing and working with this course for so long, that it's like, it like, the back of your hand. Whereas students who are brand new or colleagues who had never seen it before be like, I don't know, I might go here, I might go there, or in all my other classes, I go somewhere else. So maybe I go there for this class. Ask them and get their feedback on that. And then use the Pope Tech accessibility checker. So there's a whole nother session on that. That's kind of a whole nother topic. But these headings are accessible headings, right? And they're scannable, and any student who's using a screen reader is going to easily be able to scan to find the information that they need. So if you've kind of got the design elements down, these are other ways to kind of level up your homepage design elements.
Can I add
yeah,
one
go
more?
ahead.
I really like too on the left-hand side, and I don't know if this is how you keep it, but there's only 3 things that they could click on. It's home,
Yeah.
modules, and grades.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's always very, very simple. I mean, there are some really great links to the library and to tutoring and other things that you can add, but you can always kind of like do that gradually. They don't have to see all those things on day 1. You could be in the announcement for week 2. You could say, hey, I opened up the link to tutoring. We talked about that. And that might be just a nice way to kind of bring that to their attention. Because if there's this big, long list all of the time over there, they're never really looking at all of those things individually. So you can kind of like, release those in phases, if you will. Let me put this. That's the link. Hopefully that works. Sometimes the Canvas Commons links are kind of funky, but that's for the Canvas homepage. And then you can import that into your course and, put all your info and photos and stuff on it. Might save you some time there, but really just to kind of keep it simple and to make sure they know where they're going next. So the welcome letter is to get them into Canvas. Homepage is to get them to where you want them to start, while they know that they're getting supported by a real person and that they can connect to you if they need to. And then the next spot is an orientation module. Maybe just in our group here, let's talk about, instead of going to the breakout rooms for this one, what do you guys include in an orientation module to help students feel supported and confident? You can just put stuff in chat, or unmute and share anything that you guys are adding to an orientation module, or maybe you're new to orientation modules, in which case you're in the right spot. But what would we add to an orientation module?
I usually have like a welcome page. Oh, you know what
Mhm.
I added that's new just this last semester is what to do when you miss class.
Ah, there you go.
And just like information on that. And then I have just various pages for information about the textbook and any other supplies and how to get them, what they'll need to do to earn their grade. And then
Mhm.
I have a few things like, aside from the syllabus, like course communication quiz, or no, is that what it is? Yeah. Like they have to update their settings and an
Mhm.
orientation quiz, and then introductions, and depending on the course, a mentor meeting.
Awesome. Those are all good things that don't need to be in a welcome email, but do need to be in an orientation module. Like by the time they get into Canvas, that's the time to share all that stuff with them. Really good. Anybody else? Randy says he has a discussion group for everyone to introduce themselves. Yep. Start building that community. That's a great idea. What else belongs in an orientation module? Or what else is in yours?
I'm including information on student support services,
Yep.
and just linking to all the Mesa College pages, so that students know there's all this help available. I'm also including, because I'm in the humanities, I'm including a guideline on academic and scholarly sources so
Mhm.
that people know that the video they saw on TikTok cannot be used to answer questions in my class. It's I have to keep repeating it, but I'm trying to keep it all there in this first, what I'm calling module 0, where
There
all
you
these
go.
resources will just stay there all semester long.
Excellent. Yep. Really good examples there. Afra mentioned meet and greet discussion, Netiquette guidelines, and about me page and Canvas support. Yes, 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 yes. All these things are really, really good. I always tell people like if you wanted to put it on your homepage or you wanted to put it in the welcome letter, um, but it's like too much or it's creating too much, there's too much text involved or I don't know. I think a lot of the stuff that goes into our welcome emails and our homepage clutter belongs in the orientation module. So it's a nice catch-all for all of those things that our students might need. This is the orientation module that's currently in the Canvas Commons. So this one can also be imported, and I'll share the link with you. But a lot of the things that you guys have mentioned, it's my intro, so it's a spot for not only my like text bio, but the photo that they already got in the welcome letter and the homepage. Now I can put like a welcome video in there. I can embed it really nicely, and they have like it's a little bit more chance for them to learn a little bit more about me. More of those let's stay connected options, the stuff from the homepage, so you can be redundant in the orientation module, right? There's a whole section on new to online learning. So tutorials and what it means to be an online learner. I like including a course tour because every Canvas course is different. Yours is going to be different than other courses. And so, a different kind of video, not having them in the same video, but really a shorter course tour video where it kind of walks them through where they'll start and kind of the highlights of your course, especially highlighting the things that might be unique from other courses. Karen mentioned a spot for Mesa Student Services. I've actually that page in this is already all filled out with all those links built for you, so you don't have to recreate that page. Librarians have created a page for our orientations. We've got the library in there, and then all the technical support stuff as well. We've also got an icebreaker discussion. Randy mentioned this. So it's nice to include kind of the Canvas activities in here as well, because then it gives them a chance to practice using the tools that they're going to do for the things that like are a little bit more higher stakes later on, right? So they get to practice using a discussion board, practice taking a syllabus quiz, practice doing, marking is done. I have them do that to get the green check marks in the module. They're going to take a Google, I think this one is a Google survey. So they just check that one and mark it as done. And then it gives them also the chance to like practice what it means to go through a module, to click that next button and actually next their way through, navigate their way through in this space, similar to what they'll be doing when they get into the actual content of the course. I recommend putting in some sort of orientation summary, something to kind of bookend the orientation module, because otherwise they'll be going from, whatever random thing that they just did in the orientation, and then they'll click next, and it'll take them like deep into chapter 3, whatever it is that you're covering for week 1 content right away. So just to kind of like offer a space for transition. Maybe, take a break. Now's a good time to take a break. Now's a good time to, stretch your legs if you're still sitting down. I don't know, just kind of like a chance to take a break. Kind of intentional about giving them that space and letting them know when's a good time to do that. So I'm just talking my way through that without doing my bullets over here. Let's see, anything else? Oh, spotlight on big projects. So if there is anything big on the horizon that they kind of need to know about and plan for, especially if it has a synchronous component, any kind of field trip or special event, guest speaker, anything that they need to put on their calendar early at the beginning of the semester, that's good to include in the orientation module. Technical support, when and how they'll hear from you. That's good too. Students don't all the time know that they'll be getting those grade feedback from you. They don't know where to find that, and they don't even know that you're doing that. So you do all that hard work and they might not even know that it's there. So having a spot where it tells them, hey, I'm going to be giving you feedback, here's where you're going to find it, it's a good thing for them to do in the orientation module. Something else I was going to say about that, but I just lost it. Course and institutional policies, Mesa Student Services, week 1 required activities. Oh yeah, so those are the things that I said. Remember, you're not actively enrolled into the course until you do blah, 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 blah. Those blah, 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 blah things are hopefully corresponding to what we said in the welcome letter needed to happen. Anything else about orientation modules while I grab this link for you guys? So this is another one that's in the Commons. Of course, you're going to want to import it and then tweak it to meet your needs, and fill in. It's a lot of, I think it says edit me because it needs a lot of editing. So make sure to fill out the skeleton kind of structure that's there to meet your needs. But yeah, that's our second 10, 10, 10. And then the third 10, so we did 10, 9, 8, pre-course contact was the welcome letter. 10 minutes is a homepage, 10 hours is the orientation module. What do you think the first 10 days we would focus on? Any guesses?
Well, I'm starting off with methods and methodology. I'm teaching a humanities course, so we're going to learn words, how we can talk about art, how we can approach things. That's kind of the next module after this one.
Cool.
Because all the subsequent modules will expect you to talk about cultural artifacts. So we need to.
Right, kind of have the foundation.
Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Anyone else? The first 10 days? Anna Marie, I saw you unmute.
Oh yeah. I like to make sure that they have an opportunity to turn things in. Because although they do that in the orientation module, they do a quiz as an example, but
Right.
then in the first week, then they actually take a quiz based on assigned reading or whatever it is. So I just like them to kind of practice things and kind of understand the flow, like this is the way the rest of the semester will be.
Yep. Yep. So in the 10-10-10 class, and here's the link to the actual class that gets offered throughout one several times, and this is a free class, you can get credits for it. The last 10 for 10 days is building community. So we start talking about how to begin building community among your learners so that that's, you know, from the beginning, it's something that you're fostering, and it's not like all of a sudden in, you know, week 8 or week 9, you're like, okay, group project, everybody figure it out. You know, I mean, it's like something that really has been part of the learning environment all along is building that community, having a discussion board where they're meeting each other or, you know, meeting up on Zoom together to start meeting each other, but really thinking about what norms you want to start having your students co-create with you, for example. And so that is the last 10 of the 10-10-10. But I had a feeling that we would have plenty to talk about without getting to that 10. So I wanted to share that though, if Online Network of Educators, that's the link for signing up for 10-10-10. Let me copy that and put that in chat. And then we also have our Humanize cohort from MOST is going to be open, where it is open for registration now. We're going to be doing some of this same stuff. Humanize is very much there's a lot of 10-10-10 inside of our Humanize cohort. So if you want to talk more about this and share some more ideas with colleagues at Mesa, you can join us, register for Humanize, and this conversation will continue. I'll put that link in chat as well. So I think that's it, and we are at time. So I'm going to stop the recording.